The history of India that we read and memorize to pass our examinations is merely the account of a nightmare from a dark period in Bharatvarsher. Some people came from somewhere and chaotic fighting and slaughtering broke out. Fathers and sons, brothers and brothers competing for the throne. As one group condescends to leave, another group appears out of nowhere, which made this nightmare day by day even more and more complicated with the arrival of Pathans, Mughals, Portuguese, French and English. But if we look at India through this blood-stained, ever-changing nightmare, the real Bharatvarsha cannot be seen. These histories do not answer the question, where were the people of India? As if the people of India did not exist. Only those who killed and slaughtered alone existed. And yet, even in those dark times, the prime affairs of India were not about violence and killings. Just as in the time of a stormy day, the storm itself is not the most significant event, despite its roar. During those times, when the sky is obscured with dust, life still continues in the village homes with births, deaths, joys and sorrows, which though overshadowed, remained central to human life. But to the foreign traveler, this storm appears predominant and the dust cloud overshadows everything else, because he is not inside the house, he is outside. That is why in the historical accounts written by the foreigners, we only get to read about this dust and this storm, nothing about the affairs of the homes. Reading those histories, it seems that India did not exist then. Only a roaring whirlwind of Mughals, Pathans wandered from north to south and from west to east, carrying a banner of dry leaves. But when foreigners were present, our nation was also there. Otherwise, who gave birth to Kabir, Nanak, Chaitanya, Tukaram and others amidst these troubles? It was not that only Delhi and Agra existed then. There were also Kashi and Navadvip. Back then, in the real India, the flow of everyday life, the efforts people were making, the occurring social changes, none of that is captured in these histories. Yet, it is with this India outside of the current textbooks that we are connected. Without this age-old formula of historical bond, spanning many years, our hearts find no refuge. We are not unwanted weeds or parasites of India. Our hundreds of thousands of roots have secured India's core for hundreds of centuries. But unfortunately, we have to read such history that our children forget this very fact. It seems like we are nobody in India. Only the outsiders appear to be everything. When we learn that our relationship with our own country is so insignificant, where do we draw our life from? In such a situation, we do not hesitate to put the foreign in place of our homeland. India's disgrace does not evoke extreme shame in us. We easily say that we had nothing in the past, and now we must beg from the foreigners for all their habits of food and attire, manners and customs. People from fortunate countries always discover their homeland within their history. It is history which introduces them to their country from childhood. Our case is just the opposite. Our history obscures our homeland. From the invasions of Mahmud to Lord Curzon's boastful belches of imperialistic pride, the entire bulk of historical records form a strange mist over India, which in no way helps our vision to discover our homeland, but rather prevents it. It casts an artificial light on such peculiar spots that the very aspect of our own country becomes dark. In that darkness, the dancing girl's jewelry sparkles in the lamplight of the Nawab's pleasure halls. The blood-red froth of the Badshah's wine goblet appears like the red of the wakeful, madly fierce eyes, and the darkness shrouds the top head of all our ancient temples, while the minarets on the ornate ivory white marble tomb of the Sultan's beloved rise high to kiss the stars. The sound of horses' hoofs, the elephant's trumpet, the clanging of weapons, the pallid waves of distant camps, the golden glimmer of the kincob overlays, the bubble-shaped stony domes of mosques, the silence of mystery in the palace interiors guarded by the eunuchs, all these combine to create a gigantic illusion with their diverse sounds and colors and moods. But what is the point of calling this illusion India's history? It covers the book of Indian sacred texts with a marvelous Arabian tale. No one opens the book, and children memorize every line of that Arabian tale. Later, on the night of destruction, when the Mughal Empire was on its deathbed, the deceit, tricks, and conflicts among distant vultures at graveyard, is that India's history either? And then the British rule, checkered into 5-year divisions like a chessboard, which made India even smaller. In fact, the only difference between the chessboard and this regime is that, unlike the former, its checkering does not consist of an equal number of white and black squares. More than 90% of it happens to be only white. We are buying good governance, good justice, and good education instead of food from a large departmental store of Whiteway Laidlaw. The rest of the shops are closed. This factory may produce all good things, from justice to trade, but India's place in a corner of the clerical office is very insignificant. One must abandon the superstition that all history must be the same in every country. The person seasoned with the biography of Rothschild might demand accounting ledgers and office diaries when studying Christ's life. If unable to collect these, he may scorn and say,
"What worth is the biography of a person who did not have a single penny?"
Similarly, those who despair at not finding documents from India's royal genealogies and battles in India's history cry, "Where there is no politics, what history can there be?" They look for brinjals in a paddy field. And if they don't find them, they dismiss rice as a grain out of frustration. The wise person expects appropriate crops in their proper place. Not every field yields the same crop, and wise is the man who hopes to find the right crop in the right place. One may grow to disdain Jesus Christ if one checks his ledger book, but when one looks for other things about him, all the ledgers become insignificant. Similarly, even if India is regarded as poor in terms of state affairs, that poverty becomes trivial from other special perspectives. Not looking at India from its own internal perspective, we from our childhood have only belittled it and ourselves. The English child knows that his ancestors have won many wars, conquered many countries, and carried out extensive commercial activities. And he, in turn, also aspires to win the glories of war, wealth, and kingdoms. We get to know that our forefathers did not endeavor to conquer countries or expand trade and commerce. This is the sole purpose of India's history. We don't know what they did, so we don't know what we should be doing. Therefore, we are compelled to imitate others. Who should we blame for this? The method in which we are taught right from our childhood makes us alienated from our country day by day. Gradually, it creates a rebellious attitude towards it. Even our educated people, like bewildered fools, often ask, "Who do you call the country? What is the distinctive spirit of our country? Where does it stay?" Where has it been all along? Asking these questions yields no answer because it is so subtle and so vast that it cannot be grasped by reason alone. Be it the English or the French, no one from any country can express in one word what their national essence is, where the core of his country belongs. It is as directly perceivable a truth as the life that resides in our body, yet as elusive to define and conceive as life itself. It enters into our knowledge, into our love, and into our imagination from childhood through various unseen paths. With its diverse powers, it shapes us profoundly, preventing a gap between past and present. By its grace, we are significant, not disconnected. How can we express this diverse, dynamic, secret, and ancient power to the skeptical inquirer with a definition of just a few words? What is the chief significance of Bharatvarsha? If a precise answer to this question is sought, the answer is available. The history of Bharat will support this. Bharat always tried to establish unity amidst diversity, aligning various paths towards one goal and realizing the one amidst many as the innermost reality, recognizing the deep connection within apparent differences without destroying the distinctions that appear in the external world. Witnessing the one and striving for unity is very natural for India. But this very approach has made it indifferent to state glory, because the state glory's foundation is in enmity. Those who by heart don't perceive others as entirely alien can't consider the state glory as the life's ultimate goal. The effort to establish oneself against others is the basis of political progress, while the effort to bond with others and establish harmony amidst internal divisions and conflict is the basis of moral and social progress. European civilization bases its unity on opposition. Indian civilization bases its unity on integration. Europe's political unity harbors seeds of discord, keeping it tied against others, but failing to provide internal harmony. Thus, it perpetually awakens division and discord among people to people, ruler to tenant, rich to poor. They are not collectively supporting society with their respective rights, but are opposed to each other. Each side's utmost concern is to prevent the other's empowerment. Where there is a struggle, there cannot be a balance of power. Over time, population surpasses merit. Enterprise outshines enthusiasm, and merchant wealth influences household treasuries. This destroys social harmony, and to barely keep these disparate forces together, the government enforces new laws, one after another. This is inevitable, because discord breeds discord. The flourishing foliage that we see in the midst is the vibrant, strong tree of these conflicts. India has also tried to bind the discordants in relationships. Wherever there is a genuine difference, it is possible to achieve unity by organizing and restraining them in the appropriate places. Simply enforcing a law on unity does not make everyone united. Those who are not meant to be unified can only be brought together by dividing them into distinct rights. Forcing the different to be united leads to forceful separation eventually, resulting in destruction. India knew the secret of harmonious integration. The French Revolution dared to wipe out all human differences with blood, but the result was the opposite. Europe's power of the ruler and the ruled, wealthy and the poor, are increasingly opposing each other. India's goal was to unite everyone, but its way was unique. India limited and divided all the competing and opposing forces of society. making the social body suitable for one and diverse work, without allowing anyone to continuously overstep their rights by suppressing discord. It didn't engage the forces of society in constant struggle with each other in the path of competition, leaving duty, job, and the household in utter confusion. Unity, integration, and a chance for complete fulfillment and liberation amidst peace and stability were the goals of India. The Creator has brought various races to India. The power that the Indian Aryans had, India has had the opportunity to practice it since ancient times. The unifying civilization, which is humanity's ultimate civilization, has always been constructing its foundation with diverse elements in India. India has never alienated anyone, nor has it expelled anyone for being non-Aryans, and has never ridiculed anything as inappropriate. India has always been all-accepting and all-encompassing. Despite taking in so much to protect itself, India had to establish its own system and discipline among these accumulated materials. It is impossible to let them loose on each other like beasts in the battleground. They should be divided as per the rules and united by a fundamental idea. No matter where the materials are from, the discipline and concept are from India. Europe wants to keep its society secure by eliminating others. We can see this in America, Australia, New Zealand, and Cape Colony till now. This is because Europe lacks the internal order of their society. Their society could not give a proper place to a community different from its own. And many of the society members have become a burden to the society. In such a scenario, how would this shelter an outsider? No one wants to give room to an outsider when their own relatives try to cause trouble. In a society where discipline and unity are present and everyone has their own place and rights, only there does it become easy to accept others as their own. Either protect the society and civilization by killing outsiders, or else the outsiders should be restrained by the rules and placed in a social order properly. Either of the two would be applicable. Europe adopted the first method and kept the conflict open with the whole world. India adopted the second method and tried to assimilate everyone gradually. If there is respect for Dharma, if Dharma is the ultimate ideal of humanity, then the traditions of India must be given precedence. It takes talent to make outsiders one's own. The ability to enter others' beings and the magic of making the stranger completely one's own are the qualities of a genius. We can see that talent in India. India has unhesitantly entered into others and has effortlessly accepted things from others. India is not afraid of what foreigners call paganism, nor has it scorned it. India has also accepted the horrific materials from the likes of Pulind, Shabar, Badh, and spread its own ideas in it, expressing its own spirituality through it. India has not discarded anything and has made everything its own after accepting it. We see this unity and discipline not only in the social system but also in religious doctrine. The attempt to establish complete harmony between knowledge, love, and action in the Gita is unique to India. The word religion in Europe is impossible to translate into any Indian language because India has hindered the intellectual separation of Dharma. Our intellect, belief, behavior, life and death are all intertwined with Dharma. India has not broken it into formal and informal purposes. Just like the life of the hands, the life of the feet, the life of the head, and the life of the belly are not different. Similarly, the Dharma of belief, the Dharma of behavior, the Dharma of Sunday, the Dharma of other 6 days, the Dharma of the church, and the Dharma of the household are also inseparable in India. The Dharma of India is the Dharma of all societies. Its roots are inside the ground, and its head soars high up in the sky. India has never seen the head and the root separately. India sees the Dharma as a great tree that encompasses all of human life from heaven to earth. In the civilized society of the world, India prevails as an ideal of unity. This can be proved from its history. To feel one in the world, in one's own soul, to place that one in the diversity, to discover by knowledge, to establish by action, to realize by love, and to propagate by life. This is what India is doing amidst all the obstacles and difficulties. The time when we will experience this eternal sense of India through history, all separations between the present and the past will disappear. Foreign education has divided India both in the past and in the present. He who will build the bridge will save us. If that bridge is ever built, this dilemma will be successful because union is not conscious unless it is hurt by separation. If we have any substance in us, we will feel more keenly for our motherland, keeping in mind the blows that foreigners inflict on us. Exile in abroad will make the greatness of our home greater for us. We have memorized the dates and years of Mahmud and Muhammad Ghori's victories and passed the exam in the first class. Now we are calling upon the historian in the darkness who will establish the whole of India as a statuesque. He will instill reverence in us with his reverence, establish us, rebuke our self-mockery and self-distrust with ease, and endow us with such ancient wealth that there will be no more inclination to hide our shame under others' guises. Then we will understand that India has a great place in the world, and we have risen for great hope. We will not just take and imitate, but will donate and introduce. That possibility is there. Politics and trade are not our ultimate freedom. We have received the solemn instructions of our sages and ancestors to climb the highest peak of inapproachable and pure greatness by conquering the austere poverty and glory of the ancient brahmacharya. We will not turn back if there is no other passerby loaded with goods. Neither should we be ashamed if no teacher carrying books is walking with us. You cannot own anything valuable without paying a price. If you beg, you will receive only grain fragments, which are neither sufficient for a full stomach nor keeping with the prestige. As long as we cannot give anything to abroad, we cannot take anything from them. Even if we take it, since there is no self-respect with it, it does not become completely ours. This constraint always makes the authority over the object incomplete and inconsistent. When we give with pride, we will receive with pride. O historian, show us in which ancient chamber our giving power is stored, and open the door. From then on, our power of acceptance will be unhindered and unfettered, and our progress and wealth will be spontaneous and natural. English believe their greatest virtue lies in spreading themselves 2 times, 4 times in all areas. In this maddened blindness of their intellect, they cannot patiently teach us. The Upanishads say,
Sraddhaya deyam, asraddhaya deyam.
Means give with respect, don't give with disrespect. Because if you don't give with respect, you can't give the right thing. But instead, you give something that demeans the recipient. The English teachers of these days degrade us by charity. They give with disdain, while mockingly reminding us daily,
What I give, you have nothing like, and what you take, it is beyond your ability to repay.
Every day the poison of humiliation enters our nerves, then paralyzes us and makes us lazy. We have not had a chance to realize our own identity since childhood. We were confusingly overwhelmed by the spelling, grammar, and opinions of foreign languages. As we are unable to prove our superiority, we are forced to bow our heads down. English kids' education system is not like this. In institutions like Oxford and Cambridge, they not only swallow knowledge, but they are also not deprived of light, discourse, and play. They don't have long historical relations with professors. Firstly, the surrounding society fully embraces their national education and supports it in every way from childhood. On top of that, the education system and the teachers are also supportive and encouraging. And in our case, it's top to bottom opposite. What we learn is unfavorable. The way we learn is unfavorable. The one who teaches is also unfavorable. Despite all these, if we have been able to gain something from this education system and use it to our advantage, then the credit lies with us. Of course, if we want to liberate the nation from this foreign education system, then we will have to take the responsibility of education into our own hands and make a concerted effort so that the kids can get education from childhood in a native way, keeping the connection of the heart and mind with the native land, keeping the door open to the air and light of the motherland. If we distort the nature of our minds that India has shaped over a long period to suit our own or others' desires, we will be unsuccessful and ashamed in the world. By giving full potential to that nature, our children would easily accept foreign assets as their own and likewise share our assets with foreign countries. The main foundation of this indigenous method of education is fearless study, renouncing self-interest, the teaching of a devoted teacher or guru, and the main basis for his teaching is a complete history of their homeland. Once upon a time, such gurus were present in most villages in our country. They did not need shoes, socks, carriages, horses, or furniture. Kings and kings' imitators used to roam around them. They did not pay any attention to them. They did not have any disgrace. There is still no shortage of those gurus in our country. But the subject of education has changed. Now grammar, scriptures, and righteousness do not help to extinguish the fire of our hunger and cannot satisfy the modern thirst for knowledge. But those who have acquired the new teaching have gone astray. Their ideals have been distorted. They are not satisfied with little. They do not consider education as a moral duty. They have made education a commodity, and they have degraded education and degraded themselves. I do not consider it hopeless that this disastrous state of our high social ideals among the newly educated will one day be corrected. Among our large educated community, 2 or 3 people will certainly rise gradually, who will hate the commercialization of education and will accept the gift of education as a vow received from their ancestors. They will reduce their means of living, sacrifice luxuries, and form schools of modern education in various parts of the country. Without the roar of the inspector and the bully of the university, all through those schools, education will gain its independence and dignity. I firmly believe that Bengal will be able to produce some such gurus despite the example and teachings of the English royals.